Hello guys, this is Hexagon Zero, and we're in a bit of an unfamiliar scene. I'm playing an indie Steam game called, well, aptly named Deadcore. It's a platforming fall type game, but before I get into the actual game itself, let me explain what's going to happen here. This is a series that I plan on doing. Every month I'm going to find a Steam game, and I'm obviously gonna have to buy it, and then I'm gonna play through it, decide on my opinion of it, then do a review on it. And I'm not going to, you know how Steam has a little positive or overwhelmingly positive review stuff? I don't look at that when I chose this game. I simply looked at the trailers that it gives you, and I bought it. It was $10.99. Actually, no, I didn't get it for $10.99. I got it for about $6 because it was on sale at the time. That might have influenced my decision a little bit. But yeah, it's a 3D gorgeous platforming game. It's wow. It looks incredible, especially in 1080p at 60 FPS. By the way, I'm just gonna continue plugging that until it gets so old. Anyway, it's don't confuse this with a Portal ripoff. It's definitely not that. It has its own story. The story is discovered through little logs throughout the game that you can find, and they're kind of well hidden, and that makes it a little bit fun, because if you just want to speed run through it, okay, you don't have to deal with the story crap. But if you guys want to actually figure out what the heck's going on, why this is even happening in the first place, you guys can go find them all, and yeah. But if I was to describe this game using examples from other games, I would say it's the Dark Souls of Portal. Or, no? Yeah, that works. Essentially, where it relates to Portal is that you have obviously the gun you can see on screen here, and it's called a switch gun, and it allows you to activate certain switches, as you see I've been doing here. I've been shooting that little green target thing, and it rotates things, and you can jump, you can double jump. There's also a power called dash, which uses that little yellow bar on the edge of the gun there, and you can use that to jump forward really quickly. It doesn't work on a 3D plane, it's only a 2D plane, as you can see there, so you can't let's say dash upward. And then there's also a power you unlock later in the game called Blast, and that allows you to essentially use up some shots to, because you see you've got a shot counter there on the top of your gun right now. It's set to 30, and then there's also a timer to see how far you can, well, see how fast you can essentially get through certain levels. Yeah, that's how it relates to Portal. In how it relates to Dark Souls, you die a lot. As you can see here, I die a lot. Now, it's not a particularly long game. About 3 hours or so it took me to beat the story, and your mileage may vary depending on how, let's just say, complete you want to go through the game. Because I was just kind of playing it to play through it, because I was honestly quite frustrated with it, because unlike Portal, this isn't very puzzly. It's Twitch-based. And I don't do very well in Twitch-based shooters. It's part of the reason why, like, a whole bunch of people have asked me to do Counter-Strike Go, and not only is it, I think it's a little bit overdone at this point. Not that it's a bad game, I just think that it's being done so many times. It's the fact that I would suck. I'm not very good at Twitch shooters. Straight up Twitch platformers I'm a little better at, but this is a 3D FPS platformer, and it, like I said, those graphics, it looks fantastic. But anyway, let me get into the story a little bit here. From what I could gather, because there's 18 logs you can find, I only found 3, so there's a bit of replayability in that. From what I could gather, it was very interesting. I looked up the logs later online, and I'm not going to spoil a large portion of the story here, but from what I could gather, you're an engineer who's trying to fight his way to the top of the tower, and you can't exactly remember why. You have the common video gaming trope of amnesia. So these logs allow you to discover what has essentially been happening, and so you start all the way down there at the bottom, and there's always the threat of falling. And if you have vertigo, or you get vertigo really easily, maybe don't look down, because every bit of this level is below you. You can actually fall from the top of the tower to the bottom, but you can't because there's that red grid. The red grid, by the way, kills you if you can't already gather that. But the red grid, it will follow you up the mountain. or up the tower, sorry. It doesn't follow you like it's set to your position, it follows you based on how far you've gotten. But theoretically, yes, you could fall from the top of this tower to the bottom, because it uses a rather ingenious loading technique of only loading what it needs, but keeping all the platforms there. Because it's not a very big game. It's a skybox with platforms. It's really all it is. That doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's very complex. And this is, like, as you can see in the time counter there, I can't make it out too well in the preview window, but it looks like 54 minutes? Yeah, this is only 54 minutes into the game. This is, well, coming up. There's something a little bit farther, let's say. In the next clip, which will be playing in about... I got my timing wrong there, sorry. I can see the movies being played in the screen, but I got the timing wrong. Whatever, here it is. This is about an hour, maybe 2 hours, no, an hour 39, I think, into the game, and you get the ability to gravity shift if you shoot those at the specific points, and it gets a lot more complex, because when you first introduce it, it's like, okay, cool, I can shift gravity, and then, like, the next sequence is just gravity shift everywhere. I lost my sense of direction. I have an extraordinary sense of direction. I have a terrible sense of time, but I have a really good sense of direction, and this game made me lose the direction. Like, I played Minecraft for a while. Actually, those of you who have been on this channel for a while know that I actually did a Minecraft series for a little bit. 2 of them, in fact. But I have an extraordinary sense of direction in that game. I can figure out, like, a cave. I'm not trying to brag here. It's something that just I've noticed and people have noticed, is that I go into a cave and I can work my way out backwards without thinking about it, and I've been in that cave for 2 hours. Where a lot of people are like, what the heck is going on? Where direction do I go? But this game made me lose that sense of direction when it was shifting me up and down. And like at one point, I was going to jump out of the gravity to land on a platform. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that platform upright or is it sideways? And it literally made me stop and pause the game, because I actually tried to go through memory and figure out where the hell I was, because at this point I was honestly sweating and a little bit tired. Because this game, it's hard. And it's not hard in the sense that it's hard to figure out what the heck's going on. It's hard that you die a lot. And these green spinning things are called respawn pads, by the way. I'm sorry, you guys probably heard that. It was me bumping my chair into my desk. And you just press, it's really a fast respawn, because it just teleports you. You don't die, per se. It just, you lose your position, and then you get teleported back. It doesn't reset the level. And that's fantastic for load times. So, yeah. That's cool. But one of the reasons that this game drew it to me is that it was a puzzle type shooter, and I loved Portal. I still love Portal, and puzzle type shooters are, well, it was reminiscent of Portal, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot. But it's actually a sequel to a game called Deadlock. It was done by the same developer, and the developer's name is 5-Bit Games. Yeah, 5-Bit Games, and their publisher is Bandico. Bandy Namco. Sorry, not Bandico. Huh. Yeah. So what drew me to that is that I remember a couple of my friends playing Deadlock, and I remember being interested in it at the time, and I wasn't really didn't really get an opportunity to play it, but it had a bit of a nostalgia element to me. Speaking of which, Deadlock is like 3 years old, so I get nostalgia from stuff like that. Cool. But getting back into the game a little bit, there's a certain bit of challenge to it, because you always fall, and you can exploit the game, like in Skyrim, you could just like ninja your way up the cliffs. In this game, it's not really ninjaing, it's duping what you're supposed to do, because it's a big open. It's big and open, and that's hard to dupe, but it's easier to dupe in certain situations, particularly when you have to go down, because when you climb up to a point, there's a point when you have to activate 3 different beams that will open up the next portion of the game, and it got to the point where near the end of the level, when you have to hop your way back again, I'm just like, okay. I hopped up the side of it, and I ended up on top of a ring, and then I just dashed across the tops of all the puzzles. And that made it a little bit easier. But yeah, it's easier to dupe. But the enemies types, there's these little spinning fans here you can see, and they'll actually suck you towards it, and anything red encoded in that grid type substance will kill you on impact. So it's not fun. There's also those blocks that you were seeing floating around, and they'll push you off they'll push you away, and typically that means they're going to push you off a platform. And there's also, what was it? Let's see. There was those little floaty things that I shot when we were manipulating gravity there, and those are annoying, very, very annoying. There's 3 drones and 1 master controller, and the master controller, when it sees you, it doesn't move, it just sends the 3 drones after you, and if the 3 drones touch you, you lose the ability to double jump, dash, and blast. All you have left is a switch gun, and that it doesn't leave you defenseless, you just shoot the drones. But in a game that's based on really fast and snappy decisions, losing the abilities to do all that, especially if it happens in midair, you're screwed, because you're stopped dead, and you also are slowed down, and it's very hard to, well, navigate after that. Or continue after that. That's kind of what a log looks like, and there's also power-ups you can get for the certain abilities. But, I don't want to... We're getting to the end of the video here, so I kind of want to wrap it up. I don't want to give a review like it was a 9 out of 10 game. I want to show you guys some of the content. I want to show you guys some of the stuff I found interesting, some little quirks, and then I want you guys to decide for yourself. Maybe go check it out on Steam. Get a friend to buy it, or find someone online who's done a Let's Play of it. I don't know. I don't really intend to do a Let's Play of it. I've already beaten it, and honestly, I don't want to go back through it again, because it was frustrating, and it took me it says 3 hours on my game time, but it's more like maybe 5. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode in this monthly series. I do not take suggestions for what game I'm going to play next. It'll just be me randomly trolling, probably the on special section of Steam. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this in the comments section. Sorry, and yeah, first time doing an actual game review. Weirdly reminiscent of all the stuff I do. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is Hexagon Zero, signing out.